Nat, 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 nat. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome once again to another episode of Lancing with Myself, the weekly YouTube show where I take 5 minutes to talk about being a creative and a game designer when you might be low on spoons and low on cash. And these are very important things to talk about, especially the spoons one. I want to talk about mental health issues there. I want to talk about imposter syndrome. Although imposter syndrome I don't like as a word because it's so broad, and we kind of throw every kind of artistic fear into that bucket, which means we don't really break it down and interrogate it properly. So what I really want to talk about here is the fear of being found out, that you're a hack, that you're the bad designer, that you're the one who just moves other mechanics around and is just making, oh, that's just a copy of that, or something that says that you haven't done the right work, you're not quite good enough, you don't really belong. The thing about being an artist is that there's no one who can tell you that you're an artist. There's no one who's going to come along and say, yes, you've achieved this. You might, maybe, if you're lucky, win an award. But that doesn't stay very long, you know, and there's always the fears that sort of come back. There's nobody who can tell you, you've graduated now. Education can happen as well, but it doesn't really count. Publication can happen, but it never stays. There's never anyone who's going to tell you, yeah, we officially declare you an artist. An artist is something you have to declare yourself, and that means it's never a solid thing. It's something that only you have to believe in and tell yourself that you are an artist, that you are worthy, and that you are a decent artist, that you have skill and talent, and that you have, you know, learnt some things. And honestly, that's a very difficult concept because you're always learning and you're always getting better and you've always made mistakes. There's never a point where anything sort of resolves, especially since you're always going to be pushing yourself. You're always going to be looking for the next thing to get better and better. So your old games will always look weak, and your new games will always present challenges, and so you'll never feel like you are really an artist or a successful artist or a published artist or whatever it is. Nobody's ever going to tell you that, which means anytime that such thing is put at risk, you are at risk. And the thing is, not so much to just go, well, what can we do? You need to identify the situations where where you're going to have your identity as an artist put at risk, and build a plan. So a couple of things that hit me, for example, the classic one, of course, is playtesting. You bring a game to playtest, doesn't really work, you feel kind of crap, you're assaulted, you have an assault on your ability to believe yourself to be good at what you do. You bring a game that you think is finished and people don't have a good time. That's another one. That's happened to me just the other day. You play a game that you wrote and you think is finished and people just go, that wasn't that great. That's going to happen. Another big one, asking for help or asking for advice on the internet. You're not necessarily going to be getting advice from good people, and a lot of them are going to either talk down to you, or they're going to mock you, or they're going to give you really obvious advice, which can be even worse. That sense that it's like, well, hang on, you're not being treated as an equal. You're being treated as an idiot. You're being treated as an outsider. You can be mocked for not knowing things, and all sorts of horrible things can be thrown at you just for asking questions, because everyone assumes that you should know X, and that's their defense mechanism kicking in. The way that I prove that I'm an artist is that I know X, Y, Z about the industry or the work or the skills or something, and the fact that you don't is me lashing out about that, is me shoring up my identity as an artist. So that's another place. Asking for help can be a place that really exposes you to that kind of attack, and that can also be with other people around you. So all these kind of situations that are going to come up, of course, there's a big one, sending things off to publishers, entering things into competitions, getting feedback in any kind of form, exposing your art to any kind of interaction by your peers, by your audience, by the powers that be. Any of these things can push back on your idea and your concept of yourself. The only way you can deal with that then is to note when those situations are happening and build a plan to restore your sense of self. And that may be taking time out just to be kind to yourself, maybe putting your art aside for a while, maybe it's having a big bowl of ice cream, maybe it's treating yourself and going, something attacked my sense of an artist today, how do I build it up? It might be just taking time out to sit and think and remind yourself, to have things near you that you've done that you are really proud of, to say, hey, here's this thing, that will remind me. It might be friends. That's the other big one, is having a scene of people around you who you can trust to give you advice and to treat you like an equal and to treat you like you belong. If you can't make yourself feel like you belong, then that's what your other people are for. And when we talk about an artistic scene or an artistic community, that's what they're there for, to help you with those struggles and also to help you with that sense of self. Some of us have a lot of trouble seeing ourselves in ourselves, and we need markers, reminders of who we are. And that can be a picture on a wall, it can be a little phrase that helps us remember, or it can be another person. So you need to think about whatever it is for you, whatever you can get, find a certain thing and have it as your sense of resilience and return and your sense of healing. So whenever you go into those situations, you go, right, I'm going into a situation, my sense of self is going to be attacked. What have I got? What's my plan? What have I got? What medicines and recourses have I got to keep me safe, to keep me sane, to boost up my health as I come out of that situation? I'm going to a con, I'm going to a play test, I'm sending something off, I'm playing one of my games, I'm at risk, so I'm not going to be stupid about it. I'm not just going to stand there and take my hits. I'm going to put on my armor beforehand and I'm going to heal myself afterwards. So think about community and other things that you can do that build that sense of self. Put your armor on first, get help, healing afterwards, and be ready to identify those situations. Be smart, and you can fight the demons that tell you that you're just a hack. And then you can get up tomorrow and fight them all over again, because they never stop. That's being an artist. We just have to deal with it. Until next time, be good, play games, have fun, pat dogs.